All right, let's talk about reality. The solid stuff we touch and see and live in every day. We think we've got a pretty good handle on it. But what if I told you that's just a tiny fraction of the story? What if our reality is way, way deeper and far more in our control than we ever thought possible? That's exactly what we're diving into. I mean, really think about it for a second. This moment you're experiencing right now, what you call the present, what if it's just one single frame in a much, much bigger film, a single slice of a picture that's already complete? What if the past, present, and future aren't what they seem at all, but just an illusion created by your point of view? Okay, so to get our heads around this, we're going to use a classic thought experiment. I want you to imagine you're a flatlander. Your entire existence, your whole universe, is a flat, two-dimensional sheet of paper. You get forwards and backwards, left and right. But up and down, those words mean nothing to you. They're totally outside your reality. And this simple idea reveals something profound we can call the flatlander illusion. It shows us how a limited perspective, a limited slice of reality, actually creates the experience of time and change itself. So you're in your flat 2D world. Now imagine a three-dimensional sphere passes right through your sheet of paper. What do you, the flatlander, actually perceive? Well, you definitely don't see a sphere. What you see is a single point that just appears out of nowhere. Then that point grows into a little circle, which gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it starts to shrink back down, smaller and smaller, until it's a point again, and then poof, it's gone. To you, a whole event just unfolded over time. And this is the absolute key. For the flatlander, that circle appeared, it changed, it went away. It was a sequence of events. But from the higher 3D perspective, the sphere was always there. It was never changing. It was static, whole, and complete the entire time. The flatlander's limited viewpoint created the whole illusion of change in the passage of time. So you see where this is going, right? What if we are the flatlanders? Let's take that exact same logic and just bump it up a level, stepping from our 3D world into the fourth dimension. This brings us to this incredible concept in theoretical physics called the block universe. The idea is that your entire life, and I mean everything, from your first breath to your last, already exists. It's all one single static four-dimensional object. Some physicists call it a time worm. It's like a giant sculpture of your life that contains every single moment you have ever experienced or ever will. This just completely flips our understanding of time on its head. See, time isn't a river that's flowing past us. It's a direction that we are moving through. Our consciousness is like a little scanner, moving along this massive 4D sculpture of our life, and it's eliminating one 3D slice at a time. And that one slice, that's what we experience as now. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Wait a minute, so my life is already written? I'm just watching a pre-recorded movie? Well, hang on, that sounds a little bit bleak, doesn't it? But this is where the most important piece of the puzzle comes in. Your consciousness, the quantum observer. Down at the super, super tiny subatomic level, things get really weird. There's this phenomenon called the observer effect. And what it means, basically, is that a particle doesn't really have a definite position. It exists in a cloud of all its possibilities at the same time, a wave of probability. But the instant you look at it, the moment you observe it, that whole cloud of maybes collapses into one single concrete reality. And the implication of that is just extraordinary. Because if the simple act of looking at something shapes reality at the most fundamental level, what does that mean for the bigger reality we all live in? It means you aren't just a passenger scanning a life that's already been written. No, your awareness, your focused attention itself is the very force that turns the infinite maybe into the singular is. So that leads us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? If your consciousness is the thing that turns pure potential into actual reality, what's directing it? How do you choose which of all the infinite possibilities becomes your life? To answer that, we have to zoom out one more level. We have to learn how to navigate the 5D landscape. This is where you stop being just a character in the story and you become the director. Now, try not to think of the fifth dimension as a physical place you can go. Think of it more like a vast, infinite library. If each one of those 4D time worms is a single book, one complete version of your life story, then the fifth dimension is the entire library that contains every single possible book, every timeline you could ever imagine living. And here is the real game changer. You don't have to build a new timeline from scratch. It already exists. It's already in the library. Your only job is to change your frequency. It's exactly like tuning a radio. You just shift your internal state, your dominant thoughts, your core beliefs, your emotional state, to match the frequency of the timeline you want to experience. Okay, let's make this really practical. Let's say you're on timeline A right now. You feel stuck in your career, worried about money, maybe a little anxious. But timeline B also exists right now. In that one, you're thriving, you're financially free, you feel peaceful and confident. Both are real, fully formed realities. The only difference is the energetic frequency they operate on. To jump from A to B, you have to start vibrating at the frequency of B right now.
So this all sounds pretty amazing, but, and this is a big but, this is the exact spot where most of us get tripped up. There's one final hurdle, and we can call it mastering the mirror.
Think about your physical reality, everything you can see, touch, your bank account, your relationships. Think of it all as a mirror. But here's the catch. It's not a live feed. It's a delayed reflection. It's constantly showing you a reflection of the frequency you were putting out in the past. And that delay, we're going to call that the mirror gap. It's that super frustrating period of time after you've made a real internal shift, after you've changed your frequency, but before your physical world has had a chance to catch up and reflect that new reality back to you. So here's the conflict, right? On the inside, what you feel is your new frequency. You have tuned in to that desired timeline. But on the outside, what you see is the old reflection. The 3D world is still showing you data from your previous broadcast. And this is the ultimate test. Are you going to believe what you feel on the inside, or are you going to get discouraged by the old reflection you see on the outside? So how do you close that gap? The most powerful technique is called living in the end. This means you consciously place your awareness at the end result. You feel the emotions of your wish already fulfilled, right here, right now. You don't just hope for a change, you declare that the change is already a fact in your reality. It's this intense, unwavering observation that forces the 3D mirror, that buffer, to catch up and reflect your new state. So when you put all of this together, what does it really mean? It means you are not some helpless victim just experiencing a predefined life. You are a dimensional navigator. You are standing in an infinite library of potential realities, and your own consciousness is the library card that gives you access to every single one. You see, your life isn't a movie you're just being forced to watch. It's a movie you are actively directing, frame by frame, with every thought and feeling. The script isn't fixed. The ending isn't written. You're holding the camera. You are the navigator.